Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. This is round 31. With me, as always, Mr. Mark Shakespeare. How are you doing?
Yep, doing good as always, buddy.
Good stuff. So this week, this is our second episode from when we did our recent road trip down to the Midlands.
Yeah, what it Colville?
Coles Hill.
Coles Hill. A lovely little place, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very picturesque. I'd never heard of that place.
Very tranquil, mate. You know, it says, and I loved the church. We were just next to where his flat was. It was lovely, wasn't it?
It were a really nice spot that he got, and that window, well, their living rooms were right, sun trap. So, yeah, to give it away, we went to Andrew Paddy Patterson's.
Well, certainly did. Everyone knows him as Paddy Patterson, don't they?
Yeah.
But, yeah, quality record, bang on 50 fights, went in with some good fighters. And as you'll find out in this episode, he's gone through some bad times, hasn't he? And this was a very long interview, this. And it got quite emotional at times on more than one occasion. And it was a great... And he said at the end of it, didn't he, which I thought was really nice, he said that it was like a therapy session for him and he really enjoyed talking about it. So I come away with a smile on my face from this interview.
I really enjoyed it, and then I always said that all the time. But, like, Paddy went into some depth that I'm not sure anybody else quite has, you know, in previous episodes. And it's like I said, they don't get a chance to do this very often, a lot of them. And obviously, well... Paddy took full advantage and poured his heart and soul into everything he told us. And as you probably noticed from the description on your podcatchers, that this is a two-parter, our first two-parter.
It had to be, mate, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of podcast people are listening to and from work. You're not going to get through that in one sitting, are you? So we thought split it into two. And we're going to carry on, as you may have noticed, this month we've been releasing an episode every week, not every 2 weeks. We thought we'd give it a go just for September, and Paddy's part 2 will be out with you next Tuesday. So, in fact, let's not forget to thank his partner Naomi for the coffee and cake.
Yeah, she makes a mean cup of coffee, doesn't she, Naomi?
It was lovely.
And she reminded me a lot of my missus, does Naomi.
Yeah.
And she does teaching as well, doesn't she? And the made us really, really welcome, you know what I mean? And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me as well. So, yes, let's crack on, shall we? And this is part 1 with Andrew Paddy Patterson. How's your cake?
Spot on. I've had my cake already.
I've had mine a little bit.
I'll tell you what, though, Paddy's were bigger than mine.
I know, just a quick shout out to Tony Patterson for the cake. I popped in just to see him. My dad just popped in to see him yesterday on the off chance, and he gave me a load of cookies and a cake. So yeah, thanks for that, Tony.
Top man, mate. And thank you, Naomi, for coffee as well. It's lovely, this.
Very nice.
I think she's just gone out. Are you still in? I'm going to get out then.
She don't want to hear these stories, does she, Paddy?
No. We've got to
it's a lovely place you've got here, though, mate. I've got a lovely view here, guys.
It's a nice view,
and just looking at the church, and it's beautiful, mate. Are you happy here?
Yeah, it's peaceful. It's quiet. You know, I was living in Chelmsford Wood just recently. I moved into Coles Hill in May. I was in Chelmsford Wood before. You hear the sirens quite a bit. You know what I mean? It was a bit quiet where I was in Chelmsford Wood, but it gets a bad rep, to be fair. But you know, the neighbours in my block were fine, but a bit further down the road, it can be a bit rowdy. But up here is so peaceful. It's like a seaside town without the seaside. You know, it's Coles Hill's a lovely place.
It looks lovely, mate. I mean, we come in. It was nice doing all this advertising for Colville, haven't we?
Yeah.
Should we get a little advertising for it? But yeah, it's lovely, mate. And am I right saying it's 3 years sober now, mate?
3 years, yeah.
Congratulations on that, mate.
Thank you. It was 3 years, 11th of July, but I'm not counting. It's been an easy 3 years as well, to be fair. When I was boxing, you shouldn't really drink when you box and that, but towards the end of my career, I was hammering the drink and the drugs and stuff like that, and I was just doing the bare minimum in the gym, and then using that money just to, spending it on my family and just on my habits and things like that. It wasn't... So, of course, I got to 50 fights as a pro. I could have probably got to 75 if I'd have kind of lived a bit cleaner. But the way I fought with my face, and I was never particularly good at boxing. I say it to anyone who listen, really, I was a drunk skateboarder at best. I kind of fell into boxing, but I did all right. I did all right for what I was. We didn't have boxing in the family. I got into boxing. I got into a bit of bother at my mate's wedding, 2005, I think it was. And he says, "Oh, you want to calm down a bit. You're going to get yourself in a bit of bother if you're not careful. So come down the gym." So I went to a small youth amateur boxing gym and started doing a bit of sparring, a bit of moving around, and a bit of training. And it kind of got me off the drink, and I stopped smoking there and then. So from then on, it's just kind of took me onto better things, really. There's a few dark times in there, but my life's got better because of boxing. Boxing's, people say, if it wasn't for boxing, I'd be in prison. Well, I don't think I'd be in prison, to be honest. I had a couple of little run-ins, drunk, a few little scraps here and there, but I'm not a troublemaker as such. I think everyone makes a few stupid decisions when they drink, and I probably could have ended up a night in the cell, but nothing prison worthy. It was just a little bit, scuffles and, just being a bit of a bully, and being a bully when I wasn't even that tough. Do you know what I mean? Like, just hitting people drunk and just I got away with murder.
Not according to some of your opponents, mate. They say you're tough.
Well, I think when I first started boxing, I used to think I was tough, drinking drugs. You'd be, kind of strolled. I'd be the first one with my top off in the summer. As soon as the sun come out, I'd have my top off. I was a skinny little fucker, but I was muscly. Mm-hmm. The skateboarding kind of tones and conditions, yeah. So I am hard as nails in that sense. I can take a hiding. And, so when the sun would come out, you whip your top off, you think you were solid. But it's not until I first sparred a young Asian lad, I forget his name. He was at Small Leaf Amateur Boxing Club. One of the guys says, "Paddy, we got this young lad moving round, young Asian lad." I thought, fucking piece of piss. I'll smash this little prick up. You know what I mean? You know what you're like. I'm fresh in the pub, didn't have a clue. And fucking every time I tried to hit him, he'd be gone, and then he'd land one. I'd think, fuck, and I'd turn around to hit him again, and he'd be gone the other way. Bang, I'd get one on the other side, and it really humbled me. And I used to think I was tough, but sorry, that's not true. I used to think I could fight, and I couldn't fight. I couldn't fight fucking sleep. And this kid really humbled me. And from then on, I was too tired to catch him. I was, because I smoked. Never smoked again. 13th of August, that was 2006. Never smoked since. Just for that, boxing stopped me smoking. So thank you, boxing.
You've gone through a couple of dark times, but before we got into your boxing, I know about this skateboarding, mate.
Mm.
Oh, God. Well,
I know a Scarfe you want to know about the skateboarding and all.
Well, it's the same kind of thing with boxing as well, really. I weren't the best skateboarder in the world, but there was a lot of times, a lot of situations I was in when we'd all turn up at a spot and there'd be there was like a staircase down the side of this massive ramp, huge, like a big mini ramp, small vert ramp sort of thing. A couple of people were like, "Yeah, we'll jump off there, we'll do this, we'll film this, do that," and they were all kind of rolling up to it, not really doing anything. So I was like, "Yeah, get out of the way," and I just did it. And I got in a magazine doing that, and then there was a couple of things that people people fucking saying they're going to do something, saying they're going to try something, and not actually doing it. And then me just going, "Yeah, fucking get out of the way," and I'd try it. So it wasn't that I was good at skateboarding, but I'd try the ththings that other people wouldn't try as such. Of course, we're going back to like 1998.
Yeah.
And, the way skateboarding's moved on now, the things that, that people were doing back then, you kind of learn doing that stuff now. It's not. But yeah, so I kind of got in a couple of magazines, a couple of videos then, and I was never the best at skateboarding, but I put everything into it, so I got recognised to a degree. Yeah. In our little circle, I got recognised, a little bit of notoriety there, which was nice. And it's the same sort of thing with boxing. I was never the best boxer, but I always kind of give a good account of myself. I always tried. It was will over skill. John Pegg used to say, my manager, John Pegg, used to say it was will over skill with me. I didn't really care about boxing. I just wanted the money. It was easy money for me. That's kind of my thing with boxing. Someone said Kerry Kay's a good journeyman. He does a lot of unlicensed boxing. He said you lose some, you win some, as long as the outcome is income. And I think that's a
good saying.
I think that's a cracker. That is,
It is a good saying, that.
And you can have.
I heard that one before.
Yeah, you can have that one.
I will do. Well, you just take a mine about earlier about no point being rich man in graveyard, so we'll call it even.
We'll call it quits. Yeah.
Yes. So, any injuries from skateboarding?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get more injuries in skateboarding than you didn't ring?
Well, yeah, but neither of it stopped me doing either. Do you know what I mean? No, I've been lucky. I've been lucky with both, to be fair. I remember I was trying to land a trick and I couldn't do it. I kicked the car, broke my foot. Probably the David Beckham bone metatarsal, is it?
Yeah.
And we ended up, this was at the NIA in a car park, so we ended up going to the Moultrie pub, having a couple of brandies and a sock full of ice, and packed my foot up with ice, sat on my skateboard, my mates pushed me down New Street, and then we stopped off at another pub, a couple of pints. By the time I got on the bus, my foot was fine. Do you know what I mean? But then I got into bed and my leg would be twitching and I'd be in agony. And my mum says, "Come on, you got to get to the hospital now." So I went to the hospital and they just put a tubing grip on it, a few painkillers, and within a few days it was fine. Same with boxing. I'd smashed my knuckle on Shane Watson's head at Fleming Park, I think that was. Split my lip open for Liam Patrick Walsh.
Tell me about this split lip.
Right, so I was fighting a guy, Liam Patrick Walsh, his name was, or Patrick Liam, I think it was Patrick Liam Walsh. I can't remember, but he was a good lad. He's from Huddersfield, I think he was. He came to Birmingham he was in Birmingham for some reason. He was sparring at our gym, and John Pegg had put me in the ring with him. He was a bit lighter than I was, and he needed an opponent. So I ended up, I don't know how short notice it was, but we'd worked with his trainer before, and I think it was Chris Aston, his trainer, I think. Sorry, I remember his name.
He's from Huddersfield area, Aston.
So that's probably Chris Aston. So we ended up, he said, "Oh, don't worry about the weight, whatever. He's just come back off holiday. He's probably going to be a bit heavy. Just fight, whatever." And I was quite comfortable with this kid. I knew he was keen. I knew he was fit. I knew he was durable. I knew he'd come forward. And I knew he was a better boxer than me. We shared rounds, and I just thought, fuck it, it's 6 rounder. I'm sure it was a 6 rounder. Just make a few quid. Anyway, he's fucking hell. He could bang. He wasn't like a banger as such, but he was a good boxer. He was correct. He was come forward. I was come forward. So I just kept walking onto these shots. Anyway, he bust my lip open, split it right down the centre of my bottom lip. Split right down the centre. Nasty. I had to have a stitch in it on the way home. There was a couple of lads with us. I was with Lenny Wood, the late great Lenny Woodall.
No, sorry. Take your time, mate. It's fine, mate. You're going to remember him, mate, aren't you?
So there was a few of us. There was Paul Mann, who was from the Black Country. He was in some of the Black Country, all the Black Country journeymen. Paul Mann was in their corner. So he was on the way home. Was in a service station. Was getting some pizza. I think Lenny stole a few slices of pizza, which was funny, standard.
Good lad.
And I was eating his pizza. I was being quite careful at the time, and I ended up chewing the stitches out of my lip. I was in a pizza frenzy. Do you know what I mean? And because that was it for me. I didn't give a fuck about boxing. I just wanted the money and I wanted the food. I was a pig. I wanted to drink. I wanted to, I wanted the food. Boxing was just easy way of making money. Some people say drug dealing's easy money. Well, I ain't got the bollocks to do that. But boxing, I'd jump in the ring against 50 of, Britain's best at welterweight, like middleweight. And so I thought that was easy, and so yeah, chewed the stitches out my lip and it just managed to heal itself, thank fuck.
That's just like right up the road, isn't it? In Tamworth, he did exactly the same.
His top lip was hanging down to his bottom.
Yeah, I remember. He's a funny lad, Matt. He's a friend of mine.
Go on, let you tell him that one.
Who knows it? But yeah, he said his top lip got that badly split that it was hanging down to his bottom. So on the drive home, he held it with his tongue, pushed it up. And it managed to sort of heal itself.
He's told me this.
Oh, that goes through me every time I think about that.
That's so good on that, mate. So, obviously, through your skateboarding, that's where you got your nickname from, then, is it?
Well, it was my friends call me Pat because my surname's Patterson. Or people from school used to call me Andrew, and then skateboarding it was Pat. And then when I started boxing, started boxing at Small Heath Amateur Boxing Club, and they thought my name was Patrick. Because of Pat, so they started calling me Paddy, and that kind of stuck. I mean, my mum's parents are Irish. I've never been to Ireland. I don't claim to be Irish. But, you always know. I've got a story about this actually. I've got one side of me boxing shorts was a Union Jack, and the other side was Irish. The Ireland flag, the was it the tricolour? I don't know what they call it. And I remember fighting a guy, one of Frank Warren's lads, or something. His name was Damon Jones. Tough lad, tough. Southpaw, which I didn't know until the first bell went, and he was in great shape, absolute great shape. I remember being in the changing rooms beforehand. We was chatting away, like, we'd just seen the doctor. And I was going, sound, yeah, who are you fighting? And he was like, I think I'm fighting you, mate. I was like, oh, fucking hell, sound. So, that's how much I would give you. I just didn't care. I wasn't bothered. I remember being in the ring and the referee saying to me, look, you've got to do something here or else I'm going to pull you out because this kid, I couldn't put a glove on him. And, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I had the Ireland flag on my shorts and there was one guy, he was in an Irish pub, the Irish club in Leeds. And there was one guy, go on, Paddy, go on, son, fuck him up and all this fun. Everyone else was booing me and, and all this fun because they were obviously there to see him. I don't know if he was the main event, but he was certainly one of the most popular fighters there. But there was just one drunk dude at the bar, go on, Paddy, smash his head in. And I'm fighting. I think if there's any footage of it anywhere or any pictures anywhere, you can just see the whole fight. I'm smiling. I wasn't, I couldn't put a glove on him, but I wasn't fazed by him. I was just smiling the whole time just because this guy was tickling me drunk. I was thinking, I'll be that drunk bloke one day. Go on, son, smash his fucking head in.
Brilliant, mate. Well, going on to you. So what were your nickname then, mate?
My nickname when I was skateboarding was Two Tricks Pat.
We could make a right T-shirt for that if you were still going, Paddy. we made a few T-shirts in his time for a few at Journeyman, and we could have made a perfect T-shirt for that one, mate.
Yeah, well, that come around, it was, I don't know, I did this one trick and then I sat down and then did this other trick and sat down and someone said, who's that? And he said, it's Two Tricks Pat. And that was it. I just did this, I used to do these two tricks over and over and I had them down, do you know what I mean? I'd rarely mess them up. And it just stuck. So I had the tattoo on my neck, the Roman numeral 2. And so then when I started boxing, some of my skateboard friends would be calling me like Two Fists Pat, Two Digs Pat. They both kind of crossed over. Like, people would be saying like, Two Slaps Pat and all these sort of nonsense. But yeah, it's all just nicknames.
What were the tricks?
It was a heel flip and a varial heel flip, which is like a front side shove it heel flip for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, I haven't a clue what any of them are.
Oh, is it Tony Hawk's who does skateboarding?
I think so.
We don't like Tony. Well, I don't like Tony Hawk. My son hates him because he's just if there's a film called All This Mayhem or All That Mayhem or something like that. It's about a couple of Australian guys, bit ruffians. The ruffians are good skateboarders and they have a big fallout with Tony Hawk. About competitions. They've got the right face for skateboarding, but these guys haven't. They take drugs, they do this and that, so they wouldn't let this one guy compete in the best trick against Tony Hawk in case he got it. Yeah. And Tony Hawk ended up getting that night the trick called the 900, and it kind of really boosted his profile, and everyone, it was such a big deal. But it wasn't fair. They should have let this rough ass go trick for trick with him. Do you know what I mean? But boxing's like, so especially as a journeyman, if you've got the wrong face for it, you ain't going to get the results anyway.
No.
And it's the same in everything. If there's money, there's corruption, and when I say corruption, I don't mean. I could have them 50 fights again that I've had, and I'd probably still have the same record. There was one or two that maybe I could have pinched, but like I said, I'm not a boxer. I was a drunk skateboarder at best who could take a bit of a hiding, and I had better nights against worser opponents. And then, hang on, am I making sense? No, I had some nights when they were kind of like a new kid. I thought, I'll go in there and I'll smash his kid up, or I'll go in there and I'll use my tricks and things. And I've had really tough nights against them new kids. Then there's other kids where I've gone in there thinking, fuck me, this kid can punch, I've got to be careful here. And I've won, or I've had better nights because of not so much underestimating, but it really did matter how I felt on the day, whether I was going to win or not, or whether I was going to have a good result or not. It doesn't matter all the training I could have done. It would have made no difference. It's how I felt on the day. Yeah.
We're all upstairs, mate, wanting in that mind.
My head weren't the best. It weren't the best. It's still not the best.
Mine ain't even, mate. Mine's not.
As long as I do them things that work, I go to the cemetery, speak to my mum, I do like the odd AA meeting here and there now, which I don't do as many as I should, but as long as I've done a good day's work and I've pulled my weight and I've managed to help a couple of people out and bit of skateboarding here and there, and I've touched base with my friends and things like this. As long as I've ticked all them boxes, then, the day's been a good one, and tomorrow it's a good start. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But it's them little wins, that you need. And I think when I was boxing, I was drinking a lot, and you haven't got the effort to. All I wanted to do was get back from the gym so I could have a drink or whatever. I didn't get to the gym to get any better. I just got to the gym to make weight, and then turn up and fight. And so of course, after 50 fights, you do learn that to a degree, what you're doing. But I didn't train to get better or trying to get weight off, and it wasn't the best way to do it. But I was tough enough to get through, and I wouldn't even use the word. I'd use the word skill lightly, but I had enough about me to get through the fights. Some of the stoppages on my record were suspect. If this young prospect jumped on me quick in the first round, rained a load of punches, the ref would jump in and stop it. I wasn't hurt. The ref probably knew I wasn't hurt, but it's a safety first thing, especially after there's been some terrible things happened in them situations when fights have gone too long. And of course, the refs are only looking after. I needed saving from myself. I'd have fought anyone, anytime, and I'm glad the board took my licence. To be fair, because I could have got hurt otherwise. I wasn't in a good frame of mind towards the end.
Well, quickly, what was the ambition to begin with? Then were you planning just to go in for the money and go on the road?
There was no ambition.
Yeah,
no ambition at all. I had a couple of amateur fights. I had a couple of unlicensed fights, and then I ended up fighting this great big Albanian guy. I was down to about 11 stone. He was like 12 and a half stone, like a man. I mean, I was 26, but this guy was built like a man. Big hairy chest, six pack all over the place, great big, like a thick black beard, stubble. He was a man, massive, thick
monster.
Wrists. He was a monster, big thick wrists. And I ended up fighting this guy, and he put me on my arse. I went the distance with him. There's a couple of pictures where, I had a good scrap with him. I remember going down the pub the next day, and I bumped into John Pegg, and he says, "Fucking hell," he says, "Pat, what's happened to you?" I said, I was fighting this great big Albanian, there's them Albanians that, they'd said he'd never fought before, but I think Albanians have to do a certain amount of national service or that sort of thing.
I see,
and they're boxing there. So I think I was stitched up a little bit, but who gives a fuck anyway? I got paid. And John Pegg he said, look, come and turn pro with me. We'll get you fighting people your own size, your own weight. He said, obviously they're going to be more skillful. But, you're a tough lad, with your skateboarding and all these stunts. You'll be fine. We'll match you carefully and make some proper money. He said, how much did you get paid? I told him. He says, we'll get you some money. And, of course, it was in John's interest as well, having a journeyman on the cards. And this was before John's stable was successful to a degree. Do you know what I mean? He had quite a lot of journeymen at the time, John did. So, yeah, I started going to the gym with him. My amateur club wasn't happy with me for wanting to turn pro. They didn't think I was ready, and I wasn't ready really. But I was tough, I was fit, I was game. I don't think I ever boxed anyone who was any tougher or fitter than me, to be honest. They were always more skillful because there's a lot of them who've been doing it since they were kids. I fell into a gym stinking of fags and booze at 26. You can't teach a grown-up anything. You tell a kid, they'll say, okay. You tell me, well, put your hands up, do this, do that. And I'll say, well, wouldn't it be better if you did this, did that? They say, no, Paddy, listen, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, Pat Benson, listen here, lad, you don't know shit. He says something like that. You don't know fuck all. Just do as you're told. And I thought, well, that'll do. I still never listened to him. I didn't really listen to John Pegg much neither. I just did my own thing. But you learn the hard way. Yeah.
But like you said, you learn the hard way there, Paddy, mate. I mean, 50 fights in total. Should be proud of that.
Oh, I am proud. I mean, I've got the tattoo of my record on my chest. It's 6 wins, 41 losses, and 3 draws.
Correct.
It's I'd rather have that record than 9-0. And you fought Christian Late 3 times, and you fought. do you know what I mean? Sid Razak twice, and a couple of Latvians, and you couldn't name their names. I mean, Christian Late and Sid Razak. I remember I've sparred hundreds of rounds with both of them guys, hard as nails. They weren't interested in the win. They get a win every now and again. I remember when Lenny passed away, Christian got a win.
Brilliant.
So that was brilliant. You know what I mean? And he said, I've done that for you. You know what I mean? I got that for you, Len. And, I love shit like that, because
me too, mate. It gives me a tingle just thinking about that now.
The likes of Sid Razak, Christian Late, Max Maxwell, he was a prospect at first, and then he was just like, I just want to learn, I just want to earn a load of money. So we ended up having 70 fights or something crazy like that. Went on the road, beat some lads much heavier than him. I sparred tons of rounds with Max, and
Max is a tough kid.
Tough as fuck. I remember I went to go. I saw him fight Brian Rose on the telly, and he knocked him out. I love that. I fucking love that. I love the underdog story. I think he's great. I love shit like that. Then we went to Blackpool to watch him fight Brian Rose for the British, and Brian Rose turned up that night. You know what I mean? But yeah, Max Maxwell, great sparring. D Mitchell, great sparring. A little bit later on, Sam Eggington coming to the gym. He some tough sparring with him. He's a handful, Sam.
He's a massive handful, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, even I fought Sam. I lost to Sam by one round. He's certainly not that fighter now. But I can always say he's on my record, and I lost by a round. But yeah, what a warrior. Do you know what I mean? I think I taught him how to smile when you get hit. Do you know what I mean? If you ever come across it, ask him, because he used to hit me. Anyone used to hit me, I smile. Still do it now, I have the odd unlicensed fight here and there. And if someone hits me, or even when I'm sparring, I smile, even if it hurt. Do you know what I mean? I don't let them know. No. And then, then Sam ends up doing the same sort of thing. And it works good for him. He was a bit of sometimes, you can stand out by being a little bit different, and by Sam taking them shots and things like that, and he's never in a dull fight, because people will have him back, and people used to have me back for a similar reason, because they knew they'd get a decent, a good 4 or 6 rounds in. I wouldn't struggle their prospect too much, but if they let their hands down, let the guard down for whatever reason, then there's a chance I could knock them out because I could punch. I boxed a guy called Nicky Genman. Good amateur. He'd had over 100 amateur fights, I think, something like that. Well, Jumbo Johnson was in his corner. Fuck me. Even he was shouting across to my corner, tell Paddy to get his hands up. Nicky Genman was battering me. Every minute of every round, I took a hiding. And in the last round, he hit, the crowd are going nuts. I got the DVD somewhere. The crowd are going mad. He's hit me, dropped his hands. And I thought, fuck it. And he hit me, and I stumbled backwards. I'd never liked to go backwards, but I went back into the corner, like a neutral corner. He's hit me again, 1-2, dropped his hands. I thought, fuck, if he does that again, I'm throwing one over the top. Lenny used to say to me all the time, throw one over the top. Anyway, 1-2, and I went bang over the top. And I dropped him. I thought, fuck. Great. The crowd went silent. I thought, oh, fuck me. I'm standing up the corner. There's pictures of me somewhere. I'm standing up the corner. The crowd are going, is that all you can do? Lucky shot and all this one. He beats the count. Nicky Genman, he beats the count. He gets up, falls into the referee, sort of falls into the ropes, and the ref waves it off. I thought, fucking hell. Thank God for that. But I was taking a beating. I was taking that was, where was that? I forget where that was. I was taking a fucking hiding. He beat me every second of every round. And I think the only second of any round I won was that one punch. And I think he kind of talked about, I think on Facebook and things like that, he said, oh, I'll have that rematch. And I thought, fuck that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because he was too good. Yeah. He was far too good. And he went on. He went on to win title after title. That was his amateur debut. His pro debut, and he went on to win a load of titles under John Pegg. I think 4 or 5 titles, Southern area. And I always followed his journey. I like to see people do well. Of
course you do.
I want to see people do well. Some of my closest friends, or some of the people I care about the most. I'm gonna say friends. I don't go out. Some of the people I care about the most have punched me in the face, and for that reason, I want them to do well, which sounds crazy. You tell that to a normal person, they'd be like, what are you on about? It should be your enemy. Nah, in boxing, there's none of that nonsense. If there is, it's bullshit for the cameras, because you got to respect anyone. Like people 100%. Say that, you got to respect anyone who gets in the ring. You don't have to respect anyone who gets in the ring. Some people who get in the ring are fucking idiots, and they deserve, and sometimes it's nice to see them pricks lose. Yeah. It really is, because you just think you're cocky bastard. But 9 times out of 99, out of 100, you want to see everyone doing well. You want to make money.
So should we go to your debut then, mate?
Oh, yes, please.
Let's go to your debut against old Dan Stewart, eh? Lost on points, eh?
Lost on points, 6 2-minute rounds. Oasis Leisure Centre in Swindon. I think Jamie Cox was the headline in the show. I didn't know nothing. I still don't really. I didn't know a thing about professional boxing, right? I know fuck all. I got down to about 10 stone 3 on the Tuesday. and it was, I remember it was pissing down the rain, and everyone was going to the cafe at work. I'm a hod carrier by trade, so all the lads went to the cafe, and I sat there and I nibbled on a piece of fucking brown toast with butter, and I was chewing on it and spitting it out, chewing on it, spitting it out. I was fucking devastated. They're all sitting there. The smell, the bacon, I fucking love bacon. To the smell of it, fuck. So, and I'm sitting there, I'm starving. I did it wrong. You know what I mean? I starved myself. You know, I didn't live a clean life. I ended up going to the gym, getting all this weight off sort of thing. And, you know, I was 10 stone 3 to, like you say, ever been. And I get a phone call later on that afternoon or later on that evening. John Pegg phoned me up. He says, Paddy, that fight's off. Your debut's off. Oh, fuck. He said, you trained hard. This is when I give a shit, you know what I mean? He said, you've trained hard. Go and have a drink, you know, have some food, you know, take your wife out for a nice meal, do something. Anyway, so Friday, so I've been drinking 2-3 days straight. Friday, I'm doing up the top button on my shirt. It was in the afternoon. I'm going out on the piss with my wife. I thought, fuck this, I'm getting fucked up. And I ain't bothered about the money. I've just been paid because I always worked. Doing up the top button, John Pegg's phoned me up. He says, Paddy, fight's back on if you want it. I said, oh, yeah, okay. But I said, you know, me weight. And he said, you all right? I said, you'll be all right. Just, you know, they're desperate. They couldn't get someone in on time. They couldn't get the imports visa or something, whatever. They needed me. They were desperate. And the kid must have sold a ton of tickets. He was a tattoo artist, Dan Stewart, from Bristol. I've seen some of his work, real good work. And by all accounts, he's a nice kid. So I thought, fucking hell. So I said to my wife, I said, that fight's back on, and I'm taking it. She was like, well, I'm still going out. I said, well, don't blame you. So yeah, we both love to drink. So I ended up undoing my button. I phoned up John Pegg, and I was like, okay, John, what time are you going to come and get me? He said, well, I'm away, but I'll send a lad from the pub, Steve Shaggy. His name was Stephen. Shaggy, his name was. So Steve, his name was, but Shaggy. He said, I'll send my mate to come and get you. I said, okay, no problem. Bear in mind, I know fuck all about professional boxing. I know nothing. I've never been to a pro show, really, especially not backstage or anything, like, you know, the changing rooms and that. So Shaggy comes to pick me up. So, of course, I've never met this guy in my life. So it's small talk all the way to Swindon, right? Didn't have a clue. So Shaggy says to me, John's told me to tell you to look out for a guy called Errol Johnson. So when I get there, we're walking around. I'm looking for a big black bloke, Errol. Right? Well, it turns out Errol Johnson's not a big black bloke. He's a white bloke, fair-haired. So I'm thinking, fuck me. So I'm looking at, and you must have come across Errol Johnson. He was Matt Seawright's trainer. You know, he's in every other, he's in every away corner you've ever seen. To be honest, Errol. You know, he's a busy man. Shout out to Errol. So yeah, anyway, so I get on the scales and they're going, oh, you're heavy. I said, well, I've been eating for 3 days straight. You know, to be fair, I was just probably a little bit drunk still. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Probably had a can that day, no doubt. And it was about 2 PM, so I must have been drinking after work. So anyway, they said, oh, you're a bit heavy. And then I think it was Ernie Smith, one of the Smith brothers. He says, well, I tell you what, I'll try and go in now. And then you can go in. I'll try and swap the fight. So you go in, I'll go in now, and you go in later so you can warm up a little bit. Well, of course, Dan Stewart's lads didn't want that. They were trying to get me in there quick. You know what I mean? No, you got to fight now. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I didn't care anyway. So they're pretty much doing up the tape on my gloves as I'm walking to the ring. And I did 6-2s with Dan Stewart. And I remember as soon as I got in the ring, of course, it's my debut. I've never boxed as a pro before. He's hit me 3 or 4 times. I thought, fuck it. I can't remember standing in the middle of the ring thinking, fucking hell, deja vu. I thought, that's a weird one. I've never, I've never been in the ring before, but especially with this guy. But it's like I've been here before, and I don't know whether that was some neurological something or other. I've never been hit properly like by a professional before. Small gloves, fucking hell. But yeah, I went through it. I come out, 2 black eyes, pocket full of money. Ended up driving home and going to a local pub, and then going to put a load of. I got some money for it. I won't go on about how much. But I put $1,000 on my wedding. We just, me and my ex-wife, we was looking at venues and that, and then I put $1,000 on. Like, who the fuck? I've never had $1,000 spare in my life. Yeah. And so straight away I thought, oh, that's nice. Do you know what I mean? Piece of piece. I've just been for a nice meal. Yeah. Just been for a nice meal, done this, done that, and I've just went and fucking threw $1,000 at a hotel sort of thing. You know what I mean? I thought, I could get used to this. Mm. And that's kind of how it went then. So my pro debut was at fucking 2 hours notice. And that's kind of how my whole career went, really.
Yeah.
You know, the 90% of my career went. And if you can call it a career.
It was a career, mate. Don't put yourself down. And obviously, we're on from Dan Stewart, mate. I mean, lost in second round to a TKO, it says here, but what a fighter, John Wayne Hibbert.
Oh, what a handful. He boxed one of my gym mates, Callum Cooper.
Yeah.
He was a decent southpaw, and I think it was 12 rounds for the some WBC silver title, something or other. I forget the names of it now. But I remember Callum saying what a tough lad he was, and Callum was tough.
Yeah.
You know, and Callum lived and breathed boxing. He had a good amateur career, and he was, being southpaw and all this fun. I thought, well, that kind of took I always kind of felt a bit shit after the John Wayne Hibbert loss, because he put me on my arse, he cut me eye. I weren't feeling it. Bastard Bethnal Green. I've never had a good result at Bethnal Green. I hate that fucking place. I've been there 4 times, and every time I've had a shit night there. But I mean, they're breeding well there. You know, when you fight at Bethnal Green, if you're the home fighter, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be decent.
Yeah.
I think 9 times out of 10, any boxer's decent. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they're trying to do. Whereas I wasn't trying to be I wasn't a fighter. You know, I was, like I said, a drunk skateboarder at best. I was pisshead, and I could just take a hiding, and I did, and I punched for pay.
Punch for pay.
Piece of piss.
You were tough
Easiest money I've ever made.
You're hard as nails, though, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, cracking one to have on there, Johnny Hibbert, and we'll go to another slash journeyman, Ryan Clark.
Fuck me.
You got a draw there, didn't we?
We did, and it was
a good fight.
It wasn't the best. I think we was both really tentative early on, because I think we've made. Well, he put in the newspaper some knockout guarantee. I'm gonna smash this fucking Patterson, because I've been stopped by Hibbert, and to be fair, I think the only result that Ryan Clark had before that was a win against Danny Donchev, who was another journeyman, tough lad, lovely lad as well. I mean, I can't really understand much of what he said, but he was always in the away change rooms with us, and he was always had a smile, and he always got match tough. And yeah, Danny Donchev, he's another one. But yeah, Ryan Clark, yeah, tough lad, much bigger than I was. He was a proper light middleweight. He was tall, he was strong. I remember Lenny Woodall saying, he was warming him up once. Much further down the line, and he was warming, and he's going, I'd love to get you from an early age, Ryan, because he could whack. I remember him hitting them pads thinking, fuck me, I've been hit by them punches, and he could whack, but I think he just, I don't know whether it was a bit of ego for him or it was a bit of something, but he ended up, he wasn't as good as what he thought, I think. And I think that draw, I think that stuck in his throat a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, what a guy. Yeah, what a tough guy. And, of course, he's been in the same changing room as me a million times, and I saw him fight some real good lads. Ellen Road, what was that one guy's name? Someone Robinson, ginger lad. Fucking hell, and he fucking battered Ryan, and Ryan just kept coming back. And I think that's the same night I thought. It was either Danny Gell or Matt Doyle.
Well, you had Danny Gell, and you won that by TKO, didn't you?
Well, there's
Ellen Road.
There's a story about that one as well. There's a story about most of them, to be fair. I remember going in the changing rooms, Lenny was saying, Lenny always used to have a little look at the opponent for me. He'd give me there, and he'd come out and he said, fuck all to him, skinny bloke. I've seen his T-shirt, Team Gell, skinny bloke. I thought, I've roughed this kid up, no problem. Skinny bloke. But he's going to be fast, but he's not going to be a big puncher. I thought, I ain't fucking bothered. Team Gell on his T-shirt. Anyway, so I'm standing in the ring. You get called in first when you're the away fighter. So I'm standing in the corner, and then Len says, we got this. I'll start the car. That's what he used to say. Lenny used to say to me. He said, when that bell goes, I'll fuck off, start the car. He said, let's get this over and done with, right? So I remember this bloke started walking towards me. I was thinking, he ain't very big. And then the guy behind him, the fucking shoulders on him, you'd never seen nothing like it. That was a kid I was fighting. It was his manager, was it Glenn Banks? His manager. Team Gell T-shirt. So Len must have thought that's who I was fighting. And I must have thought that's who I was fighting. And so I was thinking, fucking hell, Danny Gell had these big old shoulders. Like Derry Matthews has got these big knobbly shoulders.
Yeah,
he had these, and I thought, fuck, here we go. Anyway, the bell was gone. It was, I think it was 6'2"s. I think it was 6'2"s. Oh, fuck me. He's come at me, Danny. There's a write-up somewhere on Google. I'll have to try and find it. And anyway, He's come at me, he's hit me with everything. And I mean everything. Fuck me, I remember going back to the corner, holding onto the ropes. He's hit me in the body shot. I've sagged. The bell come. Fuck me, it couldn't have come too soon. I remember going back to the corner thinking, what the fuck happened then? Len says, Paddy, do something or I'm pulling you out. And usually Len was like, nah, you all right, son, you know what I mean? Like, when I fought Bobby Gladman, that was quite early on in my career, I threw my shoulder out badly. And you can see on the video, I'm kind of twitching my shoulder, saying to my corner, shoulder's gone, shoulder's gone. And they ignored me, put the Vaseline on. Len slapped me around the face as usual, sent me out to work. He said, hit him with your right hand. So I went out and I hit Bobby Gladman in the last 2 rounds with my right hand and I fucking closed his eye up and roughed him up. But he still beat me on points. So I thought, well, that kind of, I realised then I had a bit of a right hand on me. Because I never threw it. I was always tentative with the jab. You start everything with the jab, but because you're being beat to the punch, you'd never get any further than throwing that jab because you're always getting countered, by these lads who are much more experienced than me. Anyway, Danny Gell. Len says, I'm gonna pull you out, Pad. I'm gonna pull you out. Do something. Well, fuck me. He's come out. We've started. We get in the middle of the ring, and I think it was like a roll left hook, and I dropped him. I thought, oh, fucking hell. So I kind of went back to my corner. He's jumped up. Of course, all his friends are there. He's jumped up, and I thought, fucking hell, he's up. Anyway, he's coming at me again, right and left hook, and I think that was a combo, and he's gone down again. I thought, fucking hell. Brilliant. He must have still been stunned, but look, he's jumped up out of, what I mean, like, all his mates are watching, you jump up, didn't you? So anyway, I hit him the third time, and whatever combination it was, fuck knows, and he didn't get up. I thought, fucking hell. Anyway, I remember that for that fight, the changing rooms were upstairs. Sid Razak was there, Billy Smith was there, right? I remember walking down the stairs into a big empty room and waiting at the double doors to go into the ring. And then, of course, my music come on. I never had a song. I didn't give a shit. They just played whatever. They could have played Ice Cream Van music for all I cared. I weren't bothered to play anything. Just get me in that ring, get me the money and get me the fuck out of there. So I walked through this big empty room, through the double doors. There was fucking spit, ice, everything being thrown at me. It was horrible. Ellen, they're a rough bunch in their Leeds. I remember going in there. Anyway, I've knocked out their guy. And I don't know if it was his debut or something, but I knocked him out. I walked out into this room then. Well, fuck me, it was only a bar. So this room was packed. And I've got my shoulders hunched right up my shoulders hunched up around me, thinking, I'm going to get glassed here. It was a nasty situation. I was worried. We went to go. We got the money, we went to get out of there. The Len's car was blocked in by paramedics. And they wouldn't move the ambulance because another fight had started. So there was this young lad. He was a brummie. I don't know who he was, Asian kid. Loved, fucking saved our lives, I think. He jumped in the car, like a 27-point turn. Got to say. We've jumped in. And, of course, everyone's outside smoking now. Their lad's just been knocked out. I'm in and out of this place. So they're all outside smoking. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, the smoking ban was in effect then. So everyone's outside, and I'm thinking, we're not going to get out of here alive. We've got in that car, we've gone. And I don't think a word was spoken for about a mile. And then it was like, whew, how about that then, Len? And Len was like, go on, lad.
Yeah. You never fought again, mate, after that?
No, he never did. He never did. I had a good scrap against one of his teammates. He's one of Harry Matthews has mentioned this guy's since as well. Matt Doyle, he was a good lad. Don Broadhurst, who was a gym friend of mine as well. I work with his brother as it goes at the moment on site, Brick Lane. He says, you're fighting this Matt Doyle. He's a good lad. Watch out for him. And I think everyone picked him to beat me. And I had a good scrap against him. It's on YouTube, I think, that fight. I had a good scrap against him. They give it a draw. Some people would say, Paddy, you did enough to beat him. A draw on the road is a win. Yeah. But to be fair, he was a better boxer, 100% a better boxer. More skillful, more head movement, everything. But I think, like I said, it was will versus skill there. And he was probably as equal. Do you know what I mean? So, I'll take that draw all day long.
Oh, yeah, it's a good little win. Well, just about virtually could have been a win, mate. We know that, don't we? Can we find a guy called Dwayne Parker?
Dwayne Parker.
Twice.
Boxed him twice. I boxed him for his 8th and 9th, I think. In fact, there's a picture. I've got a picture of mine and his fight on canvas in the bedroom with Terry O'Connor's head poking over the top. Birmingham referee. He's refereed a lot of my
Was he a
fights.
big ticket seller?
I think he was. He was good friends with John Joe Finnegan.
Yeah.
I boxed him at the Holiday Inn in Birmingham. And it was, I I don't know. I say short notice. I can't really remember this one, but I'd never had a fight camp as such ever. So I was always in the gym, sort of thing. So it's not like I had a certain amount of time to train for him. But I just knew that he was. I knew that he was an orthodox fighter, and I knew that he was going to be strong. And to be fair, he was. He was a strong lad, and he just, you know, he could beat me to the punch, and he could move and things like that. So 8 pointed there. But yeah, I boxed him again at short notice. I think they phoned me up. It could have been on the day. And I just turned up and fought him. And the second fight was a much better fight because I was much more relaxed.
I don't think he ever fought anyone with a winning record.
No.
And I think when he did, he lost and never fought again.
To be honest, if you look at my record, I worked it out once and I put it on social media. If you look at my record compared to an average of all my opponents' records, average down, do you know what I mean? So 50, so you know, you add up all the wins, the draws, the losses, and then divide it by 50. You get my average opponents or something like that. Well, I think 38 of them losses on that would come from Steve Spence.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So if you'd have took all of his losses, and fuck me, what a hard fight that was. Yeah. If you take all his losses away, it bumps up the you know, my opposition's average by fucking miles.
And then also I've got on here as well, get me fighting a kid called Ali Shah.
Oh, yes, another story about him too.
Yeah, retired that, wasn't it? That's why I put it in. It said retired on the box rec.
Right, what happened was, I remember going in there, I was 10 stone 10, and just being as flat as a pancake. Just being as flat as fuck. And then I remember the first round, he was kind of playing to the crowd, putting his hand up to his ear, you know, fucking spinning around, dancing, Prince Nazim sort of style. That fight's on YouTube too, dancing around and all this sort of thing. And I went back to the corner. John Pegg said to me, he said, "Never mind what he's doing, Pat. Just concentrate on what you're doing. Just go in there and just give him a fight. He's standing off, yeah. He's dancing around. He's picking shots. He's fast. He's nimble. He's this and this and this. You know, you're slow. It's like I've got no foot movement whatsoever. I don't dance. I'm not that kind of guy.
Don't put yourself down too much.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's a fact. It's like I was in tar. I couldn't move. I'm not the best mover anyway. So John says, just fuck him up. Just fuck him up. Just fight him. You can't box him. Fucking fight him. Yeah. So I put it right on him and I had a better round. And then right at the end of the round and that, he's that's it. I'm roughing him up and that, like, and you can see he's shaking his head at the crowd and all these things. He didn't like it. I know he didn't like it. Anyway, at the very end of the round, he hits me this uppercut. Fuck me, my eye opened. Anyway, I goes back to my corner and Len just waved it off straight away. And I was like, nah, Len, what are you fucking doing? You know, I want to fight this fuck. I'm getting into it. And, you know, and then I've come out to the middle of the ring and I said, I was just getting into that then. Right, which I was. And so in the boxing news then, the next week after, Ali Shah says, I was just getting into that then. I thought, you fucker, I said that.
Yes.
Little things. And I thought, he wasn't, I think he was meant to be in the prize fighter. I think he was in the shortlist for the prize fighter or something. You know, they used to do that on Sky Sports.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
And I'd like to have seen how he'd got on in that, you know, against another prospect, you know, someone who wasn't going to, we couldn't bamboozle. Because to be fair, a lot of them did bamboozle, maybe their feet and their hands and the speed. And, you know, they've been doing it since they're kids.
So, like I said, apart from that cut, you'd have got through that, mate.
Well, the cut was nasty. I had 6 stitches above my eye. Lenny said, I've got an eye above my eye.
Right.
And I went, and I said, oh, fair enough then.
Yeah.
But I was game. I was getting back out there. She ain't going anywhere. I thought, well, fair enough. I'll listen to them. Do you know what I mean? You got to save a fighter from yourself. You know, we need saving from ourselves, is what I mean. Like, you know, John Pegg said that to me a few times, and you do need saving from yourself because I got no fear. No boxer's got fear really, especially these journeymen. You know, they're the fucking some of the craziest people I've ever come across.
Oh yeah,
they're in their way changing rooms. They've got the music on. You're dancing around. You're all fucking laughing, talking bollocks. You pop your head into if you went to see the doctor or something in the prospects changing room, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah,
it's all like they've got their earphones in. The faces are like thunder. It's like fucking hell, chill out, man. But you know Like I've had 2 days' notice to fight like someone who's 9-0, and you've had six or 8 weeks' notice to fight someone who hasn't, you know, couldn't beat a fucking egg. But you know, chill out, man.
Yeah,
chill out.
It's a great place to be, is that away dressing room. But moving on from that, mate, we've got a nice draw against Keith Sheehan.
No, right.
Did you win this?
I couldn't say that. Listen, me and Keith are friends. We talk on. He's in America now. He was a serving Marine.
Right.
And,
Tough cookie then.
Oh fuck! They said in the newspaper, I think they said it was the small hall show that the TV cameras missed. I got the clipping in there. They basically he was skillful. They said to me, John Pegg says to me, he said, "I got this fight for you, Paddy. He's fit." I said, "So am I." He says, "Yeah, he's a Marine." No, it wasn't John Pegg. John Pegg said, "I've got this lad for you. He's tough as fuck, this and that." I said, I was saying. Anyway, I got talking to someone in the gym and they were saying, he's a Marine, Special Forces or something like that. I said, "So, I'm a hard carrier. I don't give a fuck." He said, "Yeah, but he's fit." I said, "So am I." He said, "Yeah, but he's tough." He says, "Yeah, so am I, mate." He said, "Yeah, but he's got a fucking gun." I said, "But he's not going to have it in the ring, is he?" I don't give a fuck. I said, "I've got a hod full of bricks." You know what I mean? I don't going to have him in the ring neither. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I had to sell a few tickets for that one. So my then wife, Juliet, and all her, I had no friends. They all came. She sold a load of tickets for me. I said I didn't really socialise so much. But anyway, I got up for this fight. The end of the fifth, they didn't hear the bell. We didn't hear the bell because the crowd, all of these Marine guys, all the red jackets. I don't know the terminology. The red jackets, all these servicemen. Fuck me, loud they were. And then there was my ex-wife now, and all her friends screaming, "Fucking Andy, come on, fucking smash him up." But I had a few mates there as well. It was a row, and they give it a draw. Terry O'Connor as well, I think, that ref, and they give it a draw, and we was meant to fight again. And I was bang up for that one. I thought, I'm training for this one. And he was training for it. I think he had a detached retina, and I don't think he ever boxed again, unfortunately. He's a talented lad, real strong, real nice kid, gentleman. But he would be in the services, you know what I mean? And that's one fight I'll never forget.
Well, like I said, it seems to me, obviously I always say the draws sometimes should be leaned towards journeyman, but it seems like a fair result from what you're telling me.
Absolutely fair result. He came, like I say, in the write-up, he was back and forwards, you know what I mean? He was coming at me, I was coming at him. Like, neither of us took a backward step. I can't fight on the back foot. I have to go forward or that's it. So he was, he could move a bit, but I was just throwing these punches. I remember I was boxing on an unlicensed show, and someone who knows him said, there was talk that you was on drugs, Paddy, because he said, the Keith Sheen said, no, he said, when he's hit people like that, they don't come forward. He said, you just kept coming, kept coming. And I said, I just, I was getting cheered on. I never had fans there. There was, like I said, in Leeds, there was that one drunk guy up the bar, "Go on, Paddy," steaming. And I never had fans. I never had, a following as such. So when I had them people behind me and that, you do try that bit harder. You give it that extra 10, 15, 20%. But it was a fair fight, and it was... I'm
glad I mentioned that fight then. It seems like it was a good one.
It was. And to be fair, I'd put it down. Keith Sheen was a much better boxer than what I was. But I think neither of us had a backward step in us.
You never had a backward step in, yeah.
Both fit, both game. No, thank you. Both fit, both game. And it was just a great clash of styles. If you could... You put it down to that, and great clash of styles, and I'd run that back now if you wanted. So
now I understand why people look at me like an idiot when I'm only person cheering for Journeyman. I'm like that Irish man. Yeah. It's him, mate. And it's like, who's this idiot?
I've had it before. When I've been sitting ringside for fights and that, like Billy Smith, Christian Late, Sid Razak, and I'd be Matt Seawright, but like, go on, Matt, go on, Chris, and you can they stop and they turn around to see you cheering for him because it's only one or two people, and you always get a nod. I remember I was in the balcony at the it was at the Villa ground. It was on a top promotion, and Christian Late had fought someone, and I was in the balcony. I went, "Go on, Chris," and he stopped what he was doing. I think the referee was raising, in the centre of the ring when the ref's going to raise the other guy's hand or whatever. And he was like, "All right, Paddy, how you doing?" Do you know what I mean? In the middle of it all. But that's how much we give a shit. You know what I mean?
But weren't the Smith brothers brilliant?
They really were. I mean, I didn't know the game.
I never met them, but I remember when I was younger and they were around. They were always on every show. Yeah,
I didn't know the game so much then. So, like, I'd seen Billy a few times. I think I'd met Ernie at my debut, like I said. I'm not sure I ever met him again. after that. I don't know. But I remember Billy, we had some good times, you know. I always said, you know, the likes of Billy Smith, Jody Meikle, I always said, if I can break their hands on my head, I'll take that as a win. The amount of times I've gone into change rooms after a fight and I've gone to shake their hands and their hands are in buckets of ice. Mm-hmm. And out of like habit, they give me their bad hand and I fucking give it a little squeeze. I squeeze that fucker. Oh, sorry, mate. So listen, take it easy. And then I just go. So
Love
yeah,
it,
if I break their hands, that's a win.
Good lad.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.